Whatever you put into your mind is going to show. If you're steady scrolling on TikTok and you're watching reels of people who are just depressed, of people who are just tired of their lives, of people who are just tired of working, and it's just full of people who are complaining about their situation, that energy is going to come onto you, right? All of that negative energy, that's going to be fed into your mind. And then what's going to happen is you're going to click off that TikTok, and then you're going to have those same thoughts of feeling depressed with your life, not having that energy to do what you have to do, right? And just tired of everything. Whereas if you're scrolling on TikTok and you're watching positive videos, you're watching videos about God, you're watching videos about how to improve your life, what's going to happen is not only will you start having positive thoughts, but you will start to take action in order to improve your life, all because you're watching those videos. What I'm trying to say is whatever you put into your mind is going to shape your reality, right? If you're gonna read about Christianity, you're going to have a Christian worldview. If you read about Islam, you're going to have an Islam worldview. If you read about Buddhism, you're going to have a Buddhist worldview. Whatever you read, that is going to shape your reality. Whatever you see is going to shape your reality. Why do you think when people have children, right, and the parent starts doing a certain action, the child starts copying them, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing? The child subconsciously tries to copy the parent because of the fact that in that given moment, right, you are doing something, you're feeding into their mind, which signals their brain and telling them that, oh, this is the right thing to do. And next thing you know, they start to do the action that you did. That's how it works. That's how psychology works when it comes to children and parents, right? That's why it's important that when you have a child, you don't do certain things that can potentially harm the child to the point where that child grows up and he or she does the same thing to their child, and it goes on for generation after generation, and that's how you build generational curses. You have to make sure that you try your very best to get rid of any type of generational curses that you have within your life, right? And it can go as deep as lust, right, or greed for money. You know what I'm saying? It can go as deep as having sins, right? Sins can be passed down. And in the Bible, it tells us that. In the Bible, it teaches how, kings, when they fell, right, their sins were passed down to generations after generations, right? That's what happened with King David, right? He fell to lust. And next thing you know, that sin affected his generation, right? You have to make sure that if you're battling with this sin right now, you have to try your very best to fight that sin off. And if it's lust, don't fight it. Like I said in my previous video, flee from lust, run from lust, right? Because lust is the one thing that you can't fight. Because the more you try to fight it, the more you feed into it, the more you think about it. And the more that you think about lust, the more it actually pulls you in, and it becomes a trap. And that's why God tells each and every one of us to flee from lust instead of fighting it, right? With that being said, try your very best to stop putting negative images in your mind. Stop putting, these provocative videos in your mind, right? When you're driving to work or you're driving to school, pay attention to the music that you're listening to, right? If it's music that's constantly talking about, sex and drugs and killing, you have to turn that off, bro. And people wonder why we struggle with all of these things within our lives. Look at the music that you're listening to. Look at the lyrics. Listen to the lyrics, bro. Right? Majority of these mainstream rappers, that's all they talking about. Drugs, sex, and murder. And that's it. There are some rare cases where you actually hear about love and mainstream hip hop in today's generation, right? But majority of hip hop is about murder, money, and sex, right? And as a man of God, you have to make sure that you're not feeding into that type of music, right? You gotta understand, music is very powerful. It's more than just instruments and chords, right? It's about frequency and vibration, right? The more you learn about frequency, the more you learn about vibration, the more you will understand how music works, right? There are times in the Bible where music was being used to worship God. Music was being used to honor God. The same way music can be used to worship God and to honor God is the same way it can be used for you to go to hell. The same way it can be used for you to lust. The same way it can be used for you to kill, right? That's where a lot of people, right, especially children nowadays, they listen to these types of music and they grow up and they think it's cool to go in gangs, right, and to have these guns and to be shooting up people, all because of the music that they listen to, right? And this is something that the government is doing, right? He's purposely doing this. The United States of America, the leaders of the United States of America, they know what they're doing, right? They're purposely putting these type of music out there. They're purposely making pornography free so it can torment your mind, right? So it can make you feel less of yourself, so it can make you feel depressed, so it can make you feel tired of your life. For my people who are struggling with mental health and depression and anxiety, pay attention to the music that you're listening to. Pay attention to the lyrics. Pay attention to the songs that you're constantly listening to on a day-to-day basis, because that can play a huge part in your life, right? If you're constantly listening to music that has low vibration, music that's constantly talking about, depressing things, constantly talking about sadness, and how the artist is constantly sad about life, you're going to be sad about life as well. That's how energy works. There's energy that's coming out of music. There's energy that's coming out of your car, bro. Energy is everywhere. You may not see it, but you can definitely feel it. You can definitely react to it. Your body can react to it. Why do you think that when you listen to something, you get goosebumps? Right? Why do you think sometimes when you listen to worship music, you get goosebumps? Or sometimes you end up crying, right? Because it's energy. Your body can feel the energy. It's not something that you can see, right? And there's a lot of people out there that have this, thing where it's like, if I don't see God, he's not real. Believing in God doesn't mean that you have to see him, right? Not only does it come with faith, but it comes with correction, right? If you start believing in God, right? If you start putting in faith in God, right? And you feel that your actions are becoming more different. You feel that your thoughts are starting to change. You feel that your point of view is starting to change about life, right? And that means that he is real. Why? Because your body is reacting to him. Your body is feeling his actions. Your body is feeling the works of the Lord. It's not about seeing him. It's about feeling his spirit. It's about embracing his spirit around you, right? You gotta understand that comes with everything in life, right? Just because you don't see something doesn't make it not real. So whatever that you put into your mind, right, your body reacts to it. Your body is able to feel it. And therefore, that's when you start to take action, right? You see how it all works out? That's when you start to take action because of the things that you're putting within your brain, right? And it doesn't even have to be social media. It doesn't even have to be music. It can be food, right? If you're constantly eating Popeyes, if you're constantly eating, Chick-fil-A, right, that's going to take a toll on your body, right? If you're constantly eating things that are just fried, processed, you're going to start to feel like garbage, right? But the thing about it is, America tries their very best to make these types of food taste good to the human tongue by putting all types of recipes in it, when in reality, most of these meats out there aren't real meat. When in reality, they're selling you food that's actually deteriorating your body. But the thing about it is, they put something in it to make your tongue, right, to make your senses addicted to that type of food. And that's why you're able to keep on eating it and eating it and eating it, right, without feeling any type of way other than your body feeling like garbage, right? And your spirit knows it, right? Your soul knows this type of food isn't good for you, but your flesh doesn't care. That's why gluttony is a thing. That's why gluttony is a sin. Be careful to the type of things, or be careful with the type of things that you are putting within your body, because it will show, whether you like it or not. With that being said, I'm going. Peace.